Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. And today, we're being joined by Leticia Latino, author of Women in Business, Leading the Way. Leticia, welcome to the show.
Hello, Paul. Thanks for having me.
Well, we are thrilled to have you. Are you ready to begin? All right. Question number one. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
Well, I would have to go with trust yourself and be your own critic. I think we have sometimes to avoid asking for feedback from your inner circle because maybe they don't give you the feedback you expect from them, and then it gets you discouraged. So just, trust your gut, trust yourself, and keep writing.
Great advice. And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
I think it's navigating the world of publishing. If you're not familiar with it, there's the formal path that you can take and getting an agent and all, the big stuff. And then, there's self-publishing. So I think, there's not an easy route or straightforward route, and just getting to understand what the options are out there is the hardest part.
Well, in talking before the show, you mentioned that you actually went through a publisher and you had a very good experience. So could you tell us a little bit about that process and how you chose the publisher that you went with?
Well, that's an interesting question because it's actually the publisher chose me. Like, they approached me with a project, and this project involves 14 CEOs. So I'm co-authoring the book. I'm not the only author. And so they just came with a very exciting project, and I wanted to be part of it. So I guess I got lucky on that end.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about marketing. So please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that has worked well.
Well, I'm a big believer of social media, and I'm 47, so I've had to kind of adapt because I'm not old, but I'm not young. So I've had to learn the ins and outs, but definitely marketing yourself, tidbits of pieces of your book that you can post on your social media, and start creating an audience for yourself, your own followers, because they for sure will buy your book when it gets published.
Well, you mentioned this was a co-author book, correct? And then you were doing this book with other CEOs, is that right?
That's correct.
So one of the nice advantages with that, too, is like you're not the only one that's promoting it. You have these other people as well. How many people were in the book again?
14 CEOs from different industries.
So 14 CEOs, they all have different industries. They're all sharing the book. So that's definitely a powerful way to team up with other people. We actually did our own co-author book a year ago, and we had 75 people in it. And we had 75 people that promoted the book. And it really does show how you can magnify that outreach when you have multiple people promoting it at the same time.
Oh, yeah. It's been fantastic. And even now we use the hashtag Pink Shoe Sisters, and we're creating a whole movement around the book, and the support that we are getting from each other. It's been amazing.
Well, you mentioned creating a movement around your book. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I love that you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, if you see the cover, it's a pink shoe, it's a pink heel, and initially I didn't like it because I'm a woman. I'm like, what is that, a pink heel? It's like the cliche,
Yes.
And then as I'm talking to the other CEOs, we realize, we are pretty great executives, successful executives, but we can be feminine too, and we can own it, and we can be a little bit vain in how we dress. So that's how this whole idea of the Pink Shoe Sisterhood came, and so it's pretty much smart women that are not afraid of being feminine.
Excellent. And speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Well, my favorite book has been The Alchemist forever. I always say if any other book is going to get this spot, but no, I can read it so many times and always get something different from it. And basically, my biggest takeaway from it, it's the quote where it says, when you want something, all the universe conspire. in helping you to achieve it. And I'm a full believer in that.
And for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
I'm going to do a favorite quote from my own book and my own chapter because it's around diversity and inclusion, and I feel passionate about the subject. And the quote is something that I said during a speech, and then I included it in the book. It's not about being one of the boys, it's about being part of the team.
I love that quote. Well, Leticia, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Online, I have a webpage, www.leticialatino.com, all one word. And I use the handle Leti Latino in Twitter and Instagram.
Well, thank you once again for being on our show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.